For centuries, Earth was never truly one world. Nations fought over borders, oceans, ideology, and pride. Wars ended, then returned under new names. Alliances formed, collapsed, and reformed again. To the rest of the galaxy, humanity looked predictable, divided, emotional, easy to manipulate. The Dominion used that weakness well. They controlled nearby trade lanes, dictated resource prices, and played governments against each other whenever Earth showed signs of unity. Human leaders came and went, each promising change, each buried beneath politics before lasting progress could begin. Then something impossible happened. After decades of unrest, famine scares, and foreign pressure, humanity elected a single global representative by overwhelming vote. No king. No dictator. No conqueror. A leader chosen because people trusted strength without cruelty and vision without arrogance. For the first time, old enemies sat at one table willingly. Shared defense treaties were signed in days. Scientific programs merged. Orbital industries reopened. Colonies on Luna and Mars pledged support without hesitation. Markets stabilized. Recruitment surged. Hope returned faster than anyone predicted. The new leader spoke plainly. Earth would trade fairly, defend itself fully, and kneel to no empire. Those words spread through every city, station, and colony dome. Citizens who had never agreed on anything found themselves believing again. Factories restarted. Veterans re-enlisted. Young people volunteered for service and engineering programs. Humanity was not yet powerful, but it was becoming focused. That alone made the Dominion nervous. To them, a united Earth was more dangerous than any fleet. Division had always been their greatest weapon. So they offered diplomacy. A formal summit aboard a Dominion flagship. Public guarantees of peace. Recognition of Earth's sovereignty. Access to expanded markets. Many warned it was a trap, but refusing would make humanity appear weak before the galaxy. The leader accepted. Billions watched the live transmission. The chamber was grand, lined with banners and armed honor guards. Dominion officials praised cooperation, praised stability, praised a shared future. Then their high commander stepped forward and announced that rebellious species required correction before they became threats. Without pause, the guards raised their weapons. Earth's leader stood straight to the end. No plea. No fear. Only one final stare into the broadcast lens. Then the shot was fired. The body fell before every human world. Silence followed. The Dominion commander declared Earth leaderless, fractured, and once again subject to imperial order. He promised mercy to those who obeyed and destruction to those who resisted. Across the stars, alien governments expected riots, panic, and collapse. They expected old nations to blame one another by sunrise. Instead, every human screen went dark for exactly 60 seconds. And when they came back online, the entire planet had changed. The silence after the execution frightened the Dominion more than any scream could have. They waited for riots, sabotage, emergency coups, and nations turning on each other. None came. Streets remained calm. Networks stayed active. Military traffic increased, but no one spoke publicly. Across Earth, people simply watched, listened, and moved with purpose. Something old had died with their leader, but something stronger had taken its place. Within minutes, encrypted channels opened between governments that had distrusted one another for generations. Rival intelligence agencies exchanged full archives without conditions. Nuclear powers transferred launch authentication into a unified defense command. Borders that once consumed armies became irrelevant lines on outdated maps. Ports opened. Airspace merged. Strategic reserves were released. No speeches were needed. No treaties required debate. Humanity understood the assignment instantly. The fallen leader had planned for this possibility long before the summit invitation arrived. Buried inside routine infrastructure upgrades, research grants, and trade reforms was a dormant emergency network known only to a few officials, Wrath Protocol. It was never designed for conquest. It existed for one purpose: to ensure that if Earth was struck at the heart, every human system would answer as one body. With biometric confirmation of the leader's death, the protocol activated automatically. Deep beneath the Pacific, armored blast doors separated for the first time in 20 years. Hidden shipyards powered on and released unfinished vessels that were suddenly completed by swarms of autonomous machines. In remote deserts, warehouses labeled agricultural storage unfolded into missile foundries. Beneath mountain ranges, long-abandoned bunkers lit up with fresh reactor cores. On Luna, civilian mining stations rotated and exposed rail cannon arrays aimed at orbital approach lanes. Mars colonies unlocked drone legions stored beneath ice and regolith. In the asteroid belt, tug freighters received military command keys and became supply raiders overnight. Thousands of outlawed combat AIs, sealed after earlier treaties, were restored and linked to one command lattice. Civilian factories changed production lines in hours. Car plants built armored chassis. Electronic centers manufactured guidance systems. Medical labs mass-produced combat stimulants and trauma kits. Freight companies surrendered fleets to military logistics without compensation requests. Every citizen found a role. Engineers fortified grids. Teachers organized shelters. Retirees monitored communications. Hackers volunteered before being asked. Dominion occupation forces celebrated inside their garrisons, broadcasting victory messages home. They mistook calm for surrender. They never realized humanity was most dangerous when it stopped arguing. At exactly midnight Universal Time, every hidden signal on Earth turned green. Midnight Universal Time arrived without warning sirens or heroic speeches. There was only a silent command pulse moving through every military grid, civilian relay, and hidden weapons network at once. 1 second later, Dominion forces across human space began to disappear. Their command ships were hit first. Stealth vessels that had drifted cold and invisible for months ignited engines at knife range and launched concentrated volleys into bridges, reactors, and communication spines. Admirals died before alarms completed their first cycle. Fleet coordination collapsed instantly. Ships that relied on central orders became drifting metal targets. Above Luna, mining platforms split apart and revealed mass drivers the Dominion had catalogued as harmless industrial equipment. Hypervelocity rounds crossed space in moments and punched through cruisers from bow to stern. Armor designed for plasma war cracked like glass under kinetic force. Burning fragments rained into vacuum as more cannons reloaded. Around Earth, orbital elevators transformed into vertical missile batteries. Cargo lifts became launch rails. Hundreds of interceptor swarms climbed through atmosphere and struck carriers waiting in high orbit. Hangars detonated from within before fighters could deploy. Escape pods launched into battlefields already controlled by humans. What the Dominion thought were merchant freighters suddenly opened concealed weapon bays. Container ships released torpedo racks, drone clouds, and boarding pods. Fuel haulers rammed destroyers after dumping volatile cargo across their hulls. Every civilian silhouette they had ignored became a threat. Then their sensors failed. Human intrusion teams, assisted by restored war AIs, flooded enemy systems with false signatures, phantom fleets, and corrupted targeting data. Dominion gunners fired on friendly vessels, empty coordinates, and debris shadows while real attackers closed distance untouched. Some ships shut down entirely after their own safeguards were turned against them. On Mars, armored divisions preparing to secure colonies were met by millions of compact drones erupting from sand, tunnels, and cargo depots. They stripped vehicles blind, severed power lines, and detonated under treads and troop carriers. Entire battalions vanished beneath mechanical swarms. On Earth itself, occupation troops found roads blocked, signals jammed, and every district hostile. Civilians guided resistance cells through utility tunnels, rooftops, and service corridors. Enemy patrols were isolated block by block, disarmed, captured, or erased before reinforcements arrived. 30 minutes after activation, organized Dominion resistance no longer existed in human territory. Some ships fled. Some surrendered. Most burned where they stood. Human casualty reports were shockingly low. Preparation had replaced desperation. Then every surviving alien receiver in range played the same message from Earth. The message reached every surviving Dominion vessel, every neutral outpost, and every capital tuned to emergency channels. It contained no threats, no celebration, and no demands for surrender. Only a single statement from Earth's unified command. We asked for peace. You answered with murder. This was the cost. Across the Dominion, panic spread faster than their defeated fleets could report. Worlds that had trusted Imperial invincibility watched burning wreckage streams and shattered command logs. Governors ordered mobilization, then cancelled it when casualty numbers kept rising. Trade routes froze. Garrisons sealed themselves inside fortresses. Citizens who had mocked humanity now asked how one divided species had coordinated such absolute retaliation in less than an hour. Neutral powers moved first. Delegations launched immediately toward Earth under emergency diplomatic flags. Borders once closed to humans were suddenly opened. Intelligence agencies erased anti-human briefings overnight. Markets that had excluded Earth rushed to offer favorable contracts. No one wanted to be the next empire that mistook restraint for weakness. Earth did not answer with conquest. Shipyards worked, but so did farms, hospitals, schools, and reconstruction crews. Cities held memorials instead of victory parades. The fallen leader's final image became a symbol engraved into hull plates, station walls, and public squares. Not as a martyr of grief, but as the moment humanity chose adulthood over division. From the wreckage of old rivalries, the United Defense Accord was formed. Membership required no species loyalty, only one principle: no world would ever be ruled through terror again. Former Dominion client states joined quietly at first, then openly once they saw Earth honor every treaty it signed. Refugees arrived by the millions. Engineers defected with knowledge. Soldiers volunteered under human command because humans fed civilians before arming allies. Capture technology accelerated everything. Faster drives shortened distances. New reactors powered frontier colonies. Defensive grids rose around worlds that had never known security. Human fleets multiplied, not as occupation forces, but as escorts guarding lanes once plagued by extortion and raids. Wherever they arrived, piracy vanished and slave markets closed. The galaxy slowly understood the deeper truth. Humanity's strength was never hidden weapons or sudden fury. It was the ability to suffer loss, unite through pain, and build faster after tragedy than others could after victory. The Dominion had killed one leader to break a species. Instead, they forged the most disciplined civilization the stars had ever seen. And from that day forward, every tyrant remembered the warning. Never make humanity mourn together.